Video games have always been a big part of my life. Exploring open worlds, slaying monsters, building and crafting, or even being in charge of entire nations, video games give you the chance to immerse yourself in all different types of situations. This decade brought us tons of great games, but there were some that stuck out to me more than the others. I've made some great memories playing these games alone and with friends and family, and today I'm going to share 15 games that I feel defined this decade in gaming for me. These aren't ranked in order of favorite to least favorite, but are instead listed by the chronological order in which I played them. Pokemon HEARTGOLD. Pokemon Gold was probably my favorite Pokemon game, so when I heard they were remaking it for the DS, I was stoked. Released in March 2010, HEARTGOLD added updated graphics and music, quality of life improvements, and new Pokemon and evolutions from past generations. You can also have any of your Pokemon follow behind you in this game. This edition also had my favorite party I've ever used in a Pokemon game. HEARTGOLD was a fantastic remake of a Pokemon classic, and it was a great way to start off the decade in gaming. Red Dead Redemption. When I first heard about Red Dead Redemption, it was described to me as Wild West GTA, and just from hearing that, I knew I had to check it out. Getting it right when it released in May 2010, I was instantly captivated by its massive, realistic world. Red Dead Redemption features an incredible story full of badass, intense, and emotional moments. Not to mention the side quests including some very interesting characters. It's easy to sink hours into this game, doing missions, throwing victims on the train tracks, and even finding several disturbing glitches. Minecraft. It went on to become one of the most popular games of the decade for a reason. I got into Minecraft in the fall of 2010 before the beta release, and it was an exciting time to experience it. It felt like each week there was a new update adding things, big and small. I spent lots of time in online servers in creative mode building my own crazy towers, castles, and villages, as well as trying to make it through each night in survival mode. I'll never forget the awesome stuff we would build, and then of course the tragedy of a creeper blowing it all to bits. The Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim. Christmas Eve, 2011. My brother and I decided to get Skyrim on a Steam sale and check out what was one of the most talked about games at the time. This game hooked me right from the start. I've always been a fan of medieval fantasy entertainment, so it's no wonder this became one of my favorite games of the decade. From slaying my first dragon, to pissing off all the town guards, to joining the Thieves Guild and Dark Brotherhood, Skyrim was an immersive experience that will live with me forever. Not to mention the mods.
Oh yeah!
This game consumed many hours, including nights staying up until 4 AM, and then remembering that I had class that same morning. Oh well. A Dragonborn's gotta do what a Dragonborn's gotta do. Diablo 3. Diablo 2 is probably my favorite game of all time, as you can see in my video ranking each of the acts. When its sequel, Diablo 3, was announced in 2008, the hype meter went to maximum. After 4 years that felt like an eternity, Diablo 3 was released in May 2012. Although it had its errors and issues at launch, Diablo 3 lived up to be a great addition to the franchise. Some questionable story choices aside, Diablo 3 gave me hours of fun, playing online with others and alone, experiencing a visually stunning game. The classes are fun, the skills are neat, and that classic Diablo feel is there, just with a brighter coat of paint. Now we can just hope that Diablo 4 comes out within the next decade. Animal Crossing New Leaf. Animal Crossing's fourth installment, New Leaf, was released in June 2013, the perfect time to enjoy this relaxing game. New Leaf really captures all the best things of Animal Crossing and puts it into one amazing, chill game. There's just something so fun about helping out your animal neighbors, fishing and catching bugs, decorating your house, and of course living in near endless debt to Tom Nook. It's refreshing to play a game where you can just do whatever you want at your own leisure. There are no world-threatening events, you are just a new mayor trying to have the best town you can. There's so much to do in Animal Crossing New Leaf, but there's no rush to get it all done. So grab a coffee from the Roost, and head on down to listen to KK Slider jam out on a Saturday night. Grand Theft Auto 5. And now that you've delivered the polka dot shirt to your bunny rabbit friend, let's go on a murderous rampage throughout Los Santos. Grand Theft Auto 5's massive map and plethora of weapons and vehicles never failed to keep me occupied. Going on killing sprees, attempting to outrun 5 stars worth of cops on a scooter, diving out of helicopters, driving bikes off the highest buildings, GTA gave me some great memories. GTA 5 also had an awesome story, allowing you to control 3 different characters and take part in some really exciting missions. Grand Theft Auto 5 also introduced GTA Online, which added endless opportunities to cause chaos with friends online. WWE 2K14. I've been a huge pro wrestling fan for many years, so naturally I loved playing the video games too. Many wrestling games were released this decade, but I'd say WWE 2K14, released in October 2013, brought me the most enjoyment of them. Creating my own superstars, updating existing ones, and downloading other players' creations online made the roster quite extensive. I had a blast playing with my friends in crazy TLC and Hell in a Cell matches, and setting up our own storylines for each other. Was it one of the most well-made and polished games of the decade? No, but it was one that gave me many hours of fun with my fellow wrestling fan friends. Sid Meier's Civilization V. Although this game was released in 2010, I didn't discover it until December 2014. As a fan of strategy games, it's crazy it took me that long to try out one of the best out there. At first, I was overwhelmed by it. How the hell do I play this? There's so many factions, so many buttons, so many ways to win, or so many ways to lose. But once I got the hang of it, Civ 5 became my game. I was playing every day, wanting to experience each civilization, trying to win with each victory condition, learning more and more each match I played. And as any Civilization player knows, games of Civ are not quick, so I managed to put in over 250 hours into it. Heroes of the Storm. Heroes and villains of the Blizzard universe clashing in a MOBA-style game? What's not to love? This game became one of my most played through 2015, 16, and 17, teaming up with my friends almost daily. Heroes of the Storm kept me invested by the constant updates each month, always so excited to see what new hero was coming. Completing daily challenges and saving up enough gold to buy new heroes and skins made me feel rewarded from each game I competed in. I have some really fond memories playing that game with others, and although I haven't played in a while, I know it's one I could jump back into anytime. Don't Starve Together. There are many survival games out there, but Don't Starve Together, the multiplayer version of 2013's Don't Starve, has to be my favorite of the decade. The art style and music alone are enough for me to love it, but the game is packed full of fun to be had surviving online with friends. I've made many great memories spent building bases, cooking meatballs, evading deer clops, and seemingly constantly battling insanity. Each character to play as has neat quirks and abilities, and the randomly generated worlds make each playthrough a brand new adventure. Just don't forget to keep your belly full and your fire lit before nightfall. Doom. Playing the original Doom and Doom 2 were some of my earliest gaming memories, as well as 2 of my favorite games of all time. So slaying demons with a super shotgun has always been a favorite pastime of mine. And when 2016's Doom came out, I was ready to rip and tear so hard. There was a lot of hype surrounding Doom, and it definitely lived up to it. This game was full of new and classic monsters, redesigned to look even more terrifying. Doom showcases amazing graphics, great level design, a killer soundtrack, and some epic carnage. The campaign had an intriguing story, but didn't stray too far from what every player really wanted to do. Slay demons in brutal fashion with heavy metal music blaring. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. The release of the Nintendo Switch was a game changer, and when it released in March 2017, everyone was trying to get their hands on one, me included. When I finally was able to find one, the first game to be played on it was, of course, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. An open-world Zelda game was every fan's dream, and this addition to the Zelda franchise sucked me in and made me feel like a kid all over again. I was so enthralled by the massive and immersive world and sunk over 200 hours into it before completing the game. From gliding off the Great Plateau, finding each new shrine, cooking, collecting materials to upgrade armor, exploring every inch of Hyrule, and of course battling Calamity Ganon, this game had infinite things to do. Breath of the Wild was a very special game, and I sometimes wish I could play it for the first time over again. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. In December 2018, it finally arrived. They called it Ultimate for a reason, and it was definitely an appropriate name. Adding every single character from previous Smash Bros. Games, a plethora of great maps, several game modes, and consistent DLC, Ultimate indeed. I had lots of fun battling friends in this Ultimate party game, as well as playing alone in Classic mode and the World of Light story mode. Starting out with only the original 8 fighters was awesome and made it feel rewarding to unlock new fighters over time. We even recorded a few tournaments here on the channel. Anytime Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is booted up, I know I'm in for a smashing good time. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. If you told me a year ago that I'd be including a Call of Duty game on this list, I wouldn't have believed you. I actually hadn't played any Call of Duty game since Black Ops back in 2010 and didn't really have any interest in the COD franchise after that one. But towards the end of 2019, I had an urge to attempt to pwn some noobs in a good old online FPS. When I heard Modern Warfare had crossplay allowing me on PC to play with my friends on Xbox One and PS4, I decided to pick it up. I've only been playing for about a month, but it's been a lot of fun playing with some friends I haven't really gamed with in a long time or ever. Even though it's a recent addition, I feel like I've already made some more great gaming memories closing out this past decade. This past decade brought us tons of incredible games that I love very much, but the 15 listed here are the ones that when I look back on the past 10 years, these kind of summed it up year by year. I'll always have a special place in my heart for the fun had, memories made, and for the people I shared those moments with. Thanks for letting me share a look back at my past decade in games. I'd love to know yours as well. If you haven't played any of these games before, I highly suggest checking them out. I look forward to seeing what the next 10 years bring us in gaming. I'm sure we'll all make many more great gaming memories.